comments that I made about not being able to eat fruit anywhere in a area other than the tropical hemisphere, yes, my point still stands. You haven't really given much of a good response to that. I'm talking about in terms of wild food. There is no way, other than in the tropical areas of the world which have low rates of longevity in the tribal cultures that are still eating wild foods, to eat only wild food and eat a lot of fruit. You know, there's berries, crab apples. You know, where I live, there's not much other than that. You talk about slightly non-hybridized foods like bigger apples, etc., but you know, they don't exist in the wild. Apples can't live without tree grafting. So yes, there might be an apple orchard that you have there, but if civilization were to stop existing as we know it, hybridized fruits and vegetables would disappear. And I know you made the point about cabbage, kale, etc. not being hybridized as well, and yes, I totally agree. However, I'm personally quite interested in wild foods and going to the basics of what is the most nutrient dense and what is realistic in terms of what we are designed to eat. And we are not a tropical race by any means. We've expanded all across the globe. Different subspecies or pedigrees of humanity has altered over time. Just like these hybridized fruits and vegetables have changed completely to be a completely different organism, different humans work different ways. Yes, there are people I see that work well with higher fruit. If you were to take them and put them in the Arctic, they're going to suffer greatly, and they're not going to be able to adapt quickly enough to a high-fat diet. So you know what? They're not even meant to live there. Same if you took a person, had very traditional upbringing in an Arctic setting, and you put them in Panama, they're not going to live off of fruit. They're going to get very sick. There was a point in my personal life where I was eating higher fruit before even going to Hippocrates, and when I got there, it showed that I have very high uric acid levels. So fructose spikes and converts to uric acid, so people blatantly saying that fruit's alkaline, we need to eat a pure alkaline diet of greens and fruits. It doesn't add up, because hybridized fruits aren't actually alkaline, especially when they're not picked ripe. You're not going to be in a northern climate and be able to get non-hybridized local produce every time of the year, so you're going to be getting unpicked or picked unripe fruits that are going to have detrimental effects on your minerals in your body. They're going to be acid forming, they're going to cause spiking of uric acid levels, they're going to cause these accelerated glycation end products. Like I said, they're going to put fat on your body instead of providing energy, because fructose actually converts to fat in people that are just running and doing these, 100-mile races or whatever. They're putting fat on, but then they're burning it right away. That's why they're so lean looking. But someone who's sedentary and eating a lot of fruit, that fructose, if it happens to be fruit that's high in fructose, is actually converting to fat immediately. And that's just a biological fact. There's no arguing that. There's another blanket statement that's being said here about traditional people living on simple fruits and vegetables living the longest. And you know what? That's not, there's nothing to show that. You talk about the Bible, have not been raised a biblical or religious person by any means, and I have looked at the Bible, but even from the people that have been more into that, look at Paul Neeson or Jordan Rubin and see what they have to say about biblical diets and what was recommended in the Bible. And it was not simply a fruits and vegetable diet. That was, the Old Testament talks a little bit about that, but after the flood, if you want to get into this stuff, they do talk about humanity needing some animal products, needing other forms of food than just friggin' fruits and vegetables and greens. There has not been anyone that lived a long time on just fruits and vegetables. We see even the examples of people eating high fruits, they have had to add in some cooked grains or other things. They just couldn't subsist on these things. The only person I know who's lived the maximum amount is 2 decades, and that's the author of the 80-10-10 diet. He's got 2 decades behind him of eating this way. That's definitely more than I've seen most people having. And then he's also had his book out for 5 years, yet people are touting it as the Bible and cure-all and the most amazing thing since sliced bread. But yeah, my point stands. A lot of these people that were deep into natural hygiene, if you look at the history, do your research, not just watch little YouTube videos here and there and come up with these fantastical dogmatic beliefs, you'll see that people fell off the diet, adding raw meats, raw dairy, raw eggs, more raw nuts and seeds or other things, or eating some cooked food. They died prematurely if they were dogmatic about it. They went blind from lack of B12. There's all sorts of stories, and you just gotta look for them. Show me an instance of someone living more than 3 decades on just fruits and leafy greens and vegetables, and I might start to be a little more open to listening to your story, because it's just not there. Show the facts, and then we'll start to listen. Again, the world's longest lived cultures, all of them have a certain amount of animal products in it. It ranges in the 1 to 10% range on a monthly basis. There's times when they eat more animal products. There's times in these cultures' lives where they eat less. They're definitely plant-based eating cultures. So let's just get that clear, because there are some people that tout a high meat diet as being what people traditionally ate, but that doesn't work either if we look at the longest lived cultures. So thank you for listening to this video. I encourage responses. I'm going to do most of my responses in video form if there's stuff worthy of responding to. If I just hear more blanket statements and a lot of hoopla and dogmatic beliefs, I'm not going to waste my time with it. So yeah, please do comment, and I encourage people to be active in responding to those comments if they wish. Have a great Passover weekend, Easter, Black Friday, when I'm recording this, whatever you want to call it. And I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.